Okay, everybody, I do know that some people are having difficulty. I just got a comment this morning. Let me see if I can find it here. Yes, I just got a comment this morning and said, have they changed this recently? I cannot get the embossing options to highlight to use. I do have the updated version of software. I got really excited for a second and now totally bummed out. Thanks for your help. I'm not sure which version this person has. I've had comments on my video, the video on sketchfill, and I had done it originally with 4.0. I have since upgraded several times as new updates have become available. So what I wanted to do is show you what version I'm using, and then I'm going to go through the process of sketchfill using that emboss tool. So first of all, help. I'm going to About Silhouette Studio. I am using the edition 4.1.326. I have SSBE after that, which indicates I have the Designer Edition plus the Business Edition. I do not believe that those editions are necessary to have the sketch fill. Perhaps the Designer Edition, but I'm not really sure. So just for your information, know that. If you have 4.1.326 as your latest version of the Silhouette Studio 4, it should work. So I'm going to get out of this. I'm opening my library. Most of you know from my previous videos, I do not put my finished cut file designs into the library. I buy a lot of graphic images from Hungry JPEG. It's really my favorite source. I wait till they offer a bundle, which is a terrific bargain. At any rate, I put all of these, well, I put the ones that I'm most interested in into the user designs. So these are just images that I can quickly get on my mat and use. They are not finished cut files. In a little while, I will show you how I manage, and you may want to use that method or whatever. I don't trust putting my own user designs anywhere else except in my computer and in the places that I designate. I also have a Dropbox account, which I have a whole file as a backup for my images, not so much images, I'm sorry, but my cut files so that I don't lose them. Okay, so what I'm doing now is going into the library, and I don't use too many. I do have access to files, cut files that I have bought from Silhouette Studio, and those are probably way down here. Yeah, they're under recent downloads, 705. It's the user design folders, and you can see I have plenty of them. So what I'm going to do is I have all kinds of things that I can trace and either print and cut, or in this case today, I'm going to highlight the ability to sketch, which I hope you all could get because it's pretty wonderful. So I'm going to go to something called my graphic objects. I have 1,566 of these things. And so I have a lot, and these are really awesome. Again, these are images. These are not cut files. So I'm going to pick one, a simple one. Let's see. I need to have something that fills in, that shows as black. Obviously, the ones that do not show as fill will just be like a double line sketch. I could show you one of those, but for purposes of sketch fill, I am going to pick one that is like black. If I wanted to sketch and fill in that sketch, let me find something that will work for me. Okay, so let's see. Let's see if I could do something simple. Let's do this little bird. He's kind of cute. All right, so I'm going to double click on him. And he's probably going to be large because I drag these into my library directly from the downloads that I get from Hungry JPEG. and I hear my computer, my laptop whirring in the background. So I may have to pause this until that kind of update is, something is going on, like an update, because it shouldn't be showing it's busy. I have a laptop that has, I think it's slowing down now. All right, so I'm going to double click on this and it should come up on the mat. There it is. Okay, so we have this. And as I said, this is an image file. It is not a cut file. So first thing I do, I'm going to trace it. I'm going to select the trace area and I'm going to do that, which you all know. Fortunately, you can move the threshold to get a good image, but I'm just going to trace it. Okay, now I can move the image file out and here's the tracing. Okay, so I've got this, and this would be a cut file if I wanted to use it. Very often I will highlight it, copy and paste it. Oh, sometimes I paste it 3 times on a sheet. Sometimes I work these even before I need them, and I have it helps me practice something that I might not use every single day, but enjoy doing. For example, this would be I would label this a cut file. I use the handy dandy note thing to show cut file. I don't have to do this, but it's helpful for me. The only thing you have to remember is if you're going to print anything, take these notes off your mat because they will print. Sometimes I will go say I'm going to designate this as a print file, so I know, and the reason, if I might want to do a print and cut of this instead. And then this one here, I'm going to do the sketch fill. And when I do a print file, I might just use this palette and fill it in with a print or a color. Now, that does take a little while to load up. Oh, it shouldn't. Yeah, there it is. So I'm going to just fill it in with a pattern in case I want to use that. I'll know that that's a print file. Okay, now I'm going to do what I like to do is, suppose I wanted to stick a pen or marker or something into the Cameo and fill this in on another page. So I create the sketch fill. I'm going to highlight it and go down to this tool that says open the emboss panel, requires silhouette curio, which of course it doesn't. And there it is, and I can use it. So I'm not sure what version of the software you all are using that you don't get this to work. Frankly, I'm puzzled by that and have not been able to find a good answer other than you may be using an earlier version. Most of you know how to do this. I like the concentric circles. And when I just click on that, it puts those concentric circles at this default level, 0.079. So I'm going to change that. The lowest you can go is 004, I have found. Now that doesn't reflect it until I hit my enter key. Of course, you can't see me do that. I'm going to hit the enter key and it fills it in. I've shown you this before. Then I release the emboss. It's very, very important because now the pen, when you put it in there, will go round and round and round and fill in that object. At this point, you know what I like to do is get the close up so you can see all of the lines that are created by this sketch fill process. So the pen will go round and round and round and round and fill it in. Now, if this object is very tiny, you don't need to go down to the 0.004. For example, I'm going to create another one down here. And it's just a copy of what I've already got up here. And if I made this is like 2 inches, and suppose I just wanted to put this little birdie on a sketch and I make it little, I would go down to, say, you go up in this case. So instead of 0.004, maybe 0.00, say 9. See what that gets me. Click on the concentric circle, and you can see it's lighter version. A lighter version of this because it's smaller, and so it doesn't go around as many times. And because it's so small, you don't want it going over and over and over. So you decide for yourself, based on the size of the image, how many concentric circles do you want your pen to mark. So that's how you make that choice. Now, I didn't do release emboss on this one, so I need to do that. Okay, now when you hit send, everything on here is cutting. This would cut the outline. This would cut the outline if I were doing a print and cut. And this one would do the sketch fill. And as you can see, it fills it in pretty well. The bigger your image, the more you need to go to the lowest number, 0.004, which produces the highest number of concentric circles. So the lowest number that you can go to, which is 0.004, produces the highest number of concentric circles in an image. So if this is very, very large, if this image, and you were going to want it to be, let's see, let me go back to design. If you wanted this to be really a large image, you would want that much fill. If the image is really small, you don't need that. And so you actually increase. You could go to 0, 1, 0, 0, 1, 1. You can keep on going up on the smaller images so that the computer doesn't create as many concentric circles. I think you've got that. So now the other thing people have asked, which I'm going to show at this point in time. Let's see, I'm going to, since I've got these all in separate sizes, I'm going to create a paste again. And I'm going to, because I know that this is the exact same outline as this one. All right, so I'm going to do the 0.004 concentric circle. There we go. And then release the emboss. I think that's what it's done. I better check because it's looking like it's pretty good. All right, so some of you have asked, and I'm going to try to cover this in this video as well, how do you get this cut? Well, it depends on if you want this piece cut out separately and then this piece cut out separately. If you did, you would use this. And you would just make another copy of it. Let me go back out here. Make another copy of it. There we go. I would slide it over and fit it right over this little baby and adjust it so that it's as close as can be. And then when I go to the send option, I would cut by line, okay? So it's showing two fills. One is showing the blue, and that's if I would shut this line off and then put the pen in and do the concentric fill. And then when I wanted to cut it, before taking this thing off the mat, I would leave it on the mat and unclick this and click this. And now it just cuts the outline. Okay, so that's how you would cut out something that you sketch filled if you were interested in doing that. Okay, back here, just for sake of, I will see, copy paste it again. And what I could do is, since I wouldn't want that, maybe I want this thing to be all one. First thing I would do is take this image and I would release the compound path, and that makes each of these a separate item. I'm going to go down here real close, and what I would do here, if I wanted this to be part of one design, first of all, I would probably eliminate this if I wanted to just cut it and have this whole thing be cut like a first sticker. So what I'm going to do is double click on this and bring these points over here, and over here, and over here. And then I will take this image and this image, both of them, you have to click both of them, go over to the modify panel and weld. Okay, now I have taken that image and I would remove, get close again to this one, I would remove, hopefully that's the one I'm going to use. Yeah, oh, I would remove this one if I didn't want these to be cut like that. And since it's the same size, I would take this outline and put it right there, and then go ahead and do the cut by line. All right, I've covered the version that I'm using. I'm showing you that the emboss capability is still in there for me, and I'm at a loss as to why it doesn't work for you all. So check the version that you have, and maybe somebody else can figure it out, because I cannot, because it's certainly working for me. And I did my first video when I had an earlier version of the 4, but I probably didn't, I kept the versions updated as soon as they came up with newer ones. And I never used it on perhaps all of the iterations after 4.0. And so I don't know which version they might have slipped it back out and then put it back in. So then I've shown you how to do the sketch fill. I've shown you how you don't have to use as many lines. This is a pretty big file. Remember, if you tried to capture the outline to do the cutting on this, it would be very, very difficult. It would take a lot of time to use the object and release compound path, because then every single one of these lines would be a separate item, and it would be very difficult to find the outline. So what I do is use my cut file, as you saw, place it over here, and then I modified it so that I would only cut the outline, and showed you how I could push the beak so that it wouldn't cut it as two separate entities, and eliminated the cut of the eye in the sketch fill, because it would be sketched on your whatever paper you're using or cardstock. It would sketch around that anyway. Okay, so I hope that has answered a few of the questions. I really feel bad for anybody who doesn't have this wonderful capability, and I know it's been in the last several editions of the software, because that's the first thing I do when they upgrade. When they change the version, I immediately go to this emboss window and try to work this the same way, so I can be sure that it has remained. Okay, so hopefully this will help you. I do hope you all have access to this wonderful capability, because it sure is fun. I forgot to put my little mark here. I will always do this little note for myself, and I always put what I do is I put 0.004, so just I would know. And like I said, if you're doing the print and cut, you want to move all of these little notes off your mat. But for purposes of sketching and cutting, you obviously do not have to, because they are not in red. So I hope that has helped. Now, what I'm going to do now, say if I wanted to save this file, I'm going back to the design window. Okay, I save as, and I'm going to call this, and I have one file where I put all of my cut files on my computer. I'm going to call this SketchfillUPDATE. Well, usually I do cut, print, and cut, because I did a cut, print, sketch. You see, I've done a lot of these. And then I'll put bird. I don't think I've done a bird yet, so there I go. So what I do is I will highlight that. Before I hit OK and save this file, I highlight it. I click on copy, so it copies the exact title, and then I hit OK. Now this is going to take a while, because I have this sketch filled, and this sketch filled, and this sketch filled. If I wanted to save some time, I would have just thrown these two away and just kept this one. See how it's working? See the little, okay, apparently it's finished. Then I hit the Windows, I'm on Windows, laptop, I hit my Windows key, I go to the snipping tool, and I hit New, and it grays it out, and I will say cut this, show this much, and then I hit the Save Snip, and I do Control V and hit Paste, and it has the exact same title as the Studio Cut file. Okay, I hit Save. All right, now I'll get out of this, I'll minimize this, and I'm going to show you where I save. You can save it anywhere on your computer, but I'm going to push this all the way up, and this is how rather than use the library, I would get this file, and of course it's useless, 6 months from now I won't remember what this cut print sketch bird 1 is, but immediately I have a nice image that I saved, so I can easily see what is in this file. So you can see I do that pretty much every time I do something. I have a corresponding screen clip that shows me what's in this various files. So yeah, I do a lot of work, and all of my cut files are on my computer this way. But first of all, it's a lot easier for me to see them because I can make sure I'm using extra large icons, and I can see pictures of all of my files much more easily. Plus, they're under my control, and I don't have to worry about losing them. So I only put the images that I want to play with in my Silhouette Studio library. Then I play with them, and once I make a cut file, I do not put them back into the library that way. So I have an SD card, a 200 gigabyte SD card, which I store these on, and I also put them up in Dropbox, as I said, as a backup. Well, okay, this is long enough. I hope I have clarified it, and if you all can just check your version, maybe that's the problem, but I can't guarantee it. Okay, enjoy your day.